Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Guys, Peto has started to become somewhat of a very sad story for our main dude who has no idea just what the heck he's gotten himself into, including now learning so much more about who these people that he's looked up to or at least known of for some time has had their peaks given to them by the same people. But learning this also goes to show just how much potential this has to kind of crush the hopes of a lot of people, right? One of those people being uh, our main dude who truly wants to get like all of, if not anything done, he wants to get everything on his side the way he wants it, how he sees it, and nothing else, which is how the main character is kind of working in this show. Um, just even the thought process of him maybe losing his pet started to just give him this nasty like chills and worries and stuff like that. So it kind of just goes to show you what is capable of these characters once they start really breaking, right? Like as soon as you start breaking their will and their spirit, next thing you know, you're looking at an easy way to get inside their mind, get inside of just what they actually care about, what they're actually willing to fight for at the end of the day, right? Cause seeing him like so. First of all, the hospital. I'll talk about that last. But seeing this guy who has, been on top of a lot of situations, like he hasn't been on the bad side of a lot of situations, to see him all of a sudden not know what to do, why he needs to do it, or how he can do it, it's kind of frightening because he's supposed to be like very, very intelligent, very on his game, but right now, the way that his quote unquote owners are going about this right now is very smart. They're putting him in a situation where he has to comply or he's going to end up in a much worse position than he's already kind of making for himself by asking all these questions, making statements. No. Um, he's pretty much putting himself backwards every single time he was talking at the dinner table, trying to find more and more ways to pretty much put into their heads that I, this is my pet. You guys aren't gonna take him. I'm gonna say whatever I gotta say to make sure I can keep him. All this different stuff. It's like a kid trying to convince his parents that he wants to keep the animal that he found, and he's gonna take care of it. But at the same time, the animal only does stuff for our character. He doesn't do anything else for the family. If the family was getting robbed and the person that the pet loved wasn't getting robbed, it wouldn't help. It's pretty much how the company sees the pet right now that our main character owns. He's like, oh well, sure he'll bite somebody, but not for us, right? Like he'll bite someone only when you order it, so that's not helpful at all. Which puts the show in a better position for just the pets in general and just for our main character in general to grow. Because depending on how long the show actually is, we could be coming to a conclusion very, very soon. And I at least would like to know our guy who is quote unquote a pet to somebody and doesn't even know what a pet is. Um, I want to just, I would hope that there's a chance for him to make a decision for himself. But as things are going, he's pretty much manipulated to a whole degree that he probably won't be able to understand well. So it kind of sucks in that regard because we just know that regardless of what he does, he's probably going to end up in a position where he can't really do much about it because he's expected to work. Um, but regardless, man, seeing him feel like this wind and have the wind like pushing against his hair is also I think a thing that's kind of special to him in general. Like I don't think every single person can do it because remind you, Kagaraki, the guy who was with him and giving him his clothes and stuff to change, he is he is whatchamacallit. He is he can do images and stuff. Like we saw him do it in the beginning of the show. So it's not what? How much damage can you do? I'm dead. Um, cool. But regardless of all that, it just kind of brings up the conclusion of why did this happen and how could it change the dynamic of the show. So just like with the water that started weirdly levitating when he was trying to help his main person out, the wind was kind of kicking in the same exact ways, and because of that, he could pretty much tell that an image user was there because all the windows were closed, the door was closed, there was no way for wind to be coming through, and when I knew it was wind, I kind of figured it could have been him because of just like how he maneuvers through peaks and valleys and stuff like that. He is the wind. His body is always the wind. So it was pretty cool to see that actually pay off and be the case that it was him in the first place as well. So not only are we looking very, very interesting towards the end of this, like it doesn't feel like it's just something that they're just putting out there and just, leading the audience on. It feels like there's something really going to come out of all of this, and I like that more than I do shows just kind of acting as if something's going to happen when really you could probably already tell what's going to happen. And that's what I feel like this show is doing well not to do. Like now we know there is somewhat of a free for all in some people's minds, but the company itself has a lot of chess pieces to play on the board compared to our character who has crushed someone important to another, and that person who he crushed also, affected his life, so it's not like he crushed somebody and got out perfectly fine for it. He suffers till this day from doing it. Um, and now that we know someone else might be a huge problem if they find out about it, it just makes it that much more of a weird situation when it comes down to all the main characters really having a role to play. But now with them having more information on what roles that the people who are using them, they know that those roles, what they are expected of them. So now, how do you react? What do you do with this information? It's pretty much where all of this kind of comes down to its conclusion. Do you follow in line? Do you, bite the hand that feeds you? Because imagine asking questions now of who was this guy who gave you your peak? Why would anyone crush him? Who would be able to crush him? Uh, if, if you are the one who crushed him, and I went into his like valley slash peak or whatever I was in, and I saw that it looked exactly the same as yours, and as someone else, he's putting it, excuse me, he's putting it all together, and it's clear that there's so much more that can come out of all of this. It just depends on how the story is told, how everything plays out, because at the end of the day, they could not play on any of this stuff and just kind of go about, just acting like nothing happened until the very end, where the quote unquote pet kind of just bites the owner and leaves or something, So we'll see how all this turns out. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. Um, I think we might be in for a show that's gonna destroy itself. Like I think everybody in this company is gonna wind up having to fight each other, try to first get the information they want, and then second find out that they've been betrayed or used. So, with all that being said, everybody, I'm your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you sooner than later. Peace.